Well, I'm here in Montreal right now because I'm putting out an album and a book soon, and they're both called Destroyed. And the music from Destroyed was written while I was on tour because I have bad insomnia, so I spent a lot of time in hotel rooms late at night by myself. And so the music on the record, it's very much like a soundtrack for empty cities at 3 o'clock in the morning. And then the images in the book were taken while I was on tour, but the images are not glamorous. It's not like crazy backstage parties. It's more the strange alien anonymity of empty hotel rooms and empty dressing rooms and empty airports. There's a lot of like space and emptiness in the book.
Love, oh, never seen what you wanted. Love, I was the hero that you needed. Oh, I was the one when you needed love. I was the one when you needed love.
Thankfully, I don't really have any addictions right now. Yeah, I mean, as a human being, human beings, we're all complicated, and we all do things that aren't necessarily good for us, and we all have behavioral patterns that are unhealthy, but I don't think I have any big addictions. And I've had a lot of friends who've been terribly addicted to things, so I'm grateful to not be a crystal meth addict or a cigarette smoker or what have you. Yeah. Well, May 17th, the album Destroyed and the book Destroyed are both released. And then I'm going on tour, well, starting right now. This is the part of the tour where I go around and talk to people. And then in a couple of weeks, the concert tour starts. And so I'll be doing about 3.5 months of concert touring in Europe, and then probably come back to North America. Hopefully be back in Montreal in, I would think, September or October. I don't have an actual date for that or anything announced, but I'm thinking probably October. Yeah, I've made a lot of different types of music in my life because I grew up playing classical music, and I played in punk rock bands, and I played jazz, and I was a hip-hop DJ, and in the house music scene. And so I've made some records that were like rave dance records. I've made some records that were very quiet and atmospheric, some records that were more conventional. This album, to me, it's very electronic and very melodic and very atmospheric. So I guess it's similar to some of the music I've made, but it's not the most commercial pop-friendly album I've made. Because at this point in my life, I really just want to try and make music that I love and not worry too much about whether it sells or whether it gets on the radio. If you make a record that you're proud of and you really love and it sells, that's fine. But I'm not really interested in the compromises that people need to make in order to have a lot of commercial success. So, as far as playing concerts in Montreal, I've probably played here about 10 times in my life. I've played I remember playing quite a small show at a place called Club Soda years ago, about 16 years ago, and I played at Metropolis, and I've played all sorts of different shows here. And the audiences, French-Canadian, Quebec audiences are really great because they're so enthusiastic. The only problem is I don't speak French very well, so unfortunately, I wish I could come here and speak French better, but I feel a connection. Because I like culturally, artistically, politically, I definitely feel more connected to life here, in Canada in general, but especially in Quebec, than I do to life politically in the United States. America is the land of NASCAR and McDonald's and guns and country western. I don't understand that at all. So I definitely feel much more of a kinship here. Well, the reason I live in Los Angeles and not in Canada simply is because Los Angeles is warmer. I feel like life is short, and I really don't like being cold in the middle of the winter. Every now and then it's okay, but growing up in New York or living in Connecticut, I would have those experiences, as most people have, of you get cold in the middle of November and it doesn't get warm until the middle of May. And I just don't want to deal with that anymore. And also, Los Angeles has mountains and it has a strangeness to it that most cities don't have. Like LA is just really weird, and there's all sorts of like interesting artists and writers there. So I don't know. For now, it seems like a good place to live. Well, I mean, because I never expected to have a career as a musician. When I was growing up, I thought that my life was going to be spent teaching community college and making music in my bedroom that no one ever listened to. So it still really surprises me that I have a career as a musician. And in the last 20 years, I've made so many different types of music, some good, some bad, some good records, some bad records. And it's strange. The one constant, and I hope this doesn't sound cliched, but the one constant is just how much I love music. You know, I love music more now than I did 20 years ago. Like it affects me so powerfully. And that's why I just keep making records and keep making music. And I hope to be making music and making records till the day I die. You know, it's my life's work. It's funny because the next album, there's this album Destroyed that comes out in May, but the next album's already finished. It doesn't have a name yet, but I'm hesitant to talk about it because maybe it'll change, but it's got a very specific concept that I think we'll probably put it out in about a year or a year and a half. And hopefully it'll, I mean, like I said, I just want to keep making music. I don't know if anyone will ever listen to it. I don't know if anyone's ever going to buy the records, but as long as I just keep working on it, keep putting it out, and hopefully at some point someone might listen to it.